Hey there everybody, and welcome back to another very quick tutorial. In today's video, we're going to be walking through the basics of making a YouTube intro. So in this case, you've already seen my intro at the beginning of this video. I'm going to walk you through how I made this using Movavi. So essentially, you'll be able to use a similar, really any video editors that allow you to do similar functionality if you have a preferred video editor, but I'm going to walk you through where I got the content. So I won't make you watch the whole thing, but basically where we have some sounds, and then as it goes through, you'll see we have the animation for the text, and then we also have the animation for the codelessfix.com logo. So I'm going back and forth just so you can kind of see what it looks like, and then you can see the different parts down here. So it's obviously not terribly complex. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. So the first thing that you need to do, scroll down on your YouTube page. Don't forget to hit that like button, show your support for the channel, and subscribe so that you can see the new videos as they're coming out. Now, first things first, we are getting our content from Pixabay. So I want to go over the license first just to make sure that you're not violating that. So you'll see up here, all content can be used for free, for commercial use, non-commercial use. Attribution is not required. You can make modifications to the content from Pixabay. You can access this license at the top left of in this URL, or if you go to the Pixabay website and you scroll all the way down, typically on the home page, there will be a licenses option. So let's scroll up. We'll go to their website just to show you where you can find it. And in my case, it's down here, and we land at this page. Basically, your main focus is don't violate anything in this what is not allowed section. So now let's go ahead and jump straight in. So first, I'm going to show you where I got the content that I use for my videos, or for my video. So the first thing, when it comes to the sounds, it took a while to find just because, as you can tell, you have to actually listen to the sound as opposed to videos where it's easier just to look really, really quickly. But this was the sound that I used. It's called Best Time. And this is the, I'm assuming the user that uploaded it. You'll have the time here, and then the URL up here is where you can get it. I just used a small portion of it. And then we have this green screen footage, which is basically just this. There's not really anything else that happens, so I took a piece of that. And then we have the thunderstorm, which doesn't actually have any audio in the background. So those are the three parts, and then obviously the logos I added over top. So you can go to Pixabay, you can type in the search bar, whatever criteria. You can actually type in the numbers for the videos and images if you have them. But if we were to go to the videos search, and you can type in pretty much anything, so you'll be able to find some really, really cool content here. So if we were to decide, okay, we want this, you can click free download. You can choose the option here. So sometimes it'll show something that may not necessarily be available, but you can click download and you'll see that it starts downloading pretty much instantly. And that's really all that there is to it. So I recommend you share if you can, donate to the people that are actually uploading the content, share if and when you can, but that's really all that there is to that. So let's jump over to Movavi and walk through what I did, and then we'll basically replicate it off to the right here. So first things first, we have a logo and a logo. So we'll just add in two random images. So we'll go to Pixabay and we'll now do one more video search, and we'll grab one more video. Again, this is going to look terrible, but I just want to show you how you would essentially do this if you wanted to. So we have the two 4K videos side by side. Now we're going to find two images. Ideally, in your case, this would be your logo. But in this case, we don't actually have a logo that we need to use. So let's just pick, this looks kind of like a logo, and then we'll use this one since we're a tech channel. So we'll click free download, highest resolution, and you'll see you have unlimited downloads if you sign up for an account. So I'll need to sign in really quickly, and then we will check and see if it's going to require that over here as well. So we'll go ahead and get logged in. All right, so I went ahead and got signed in and downloaded the images. So we now have the images and the videos. The last thing we need to grab is some kind of sound. So because I already have this one, we're just going to go ahead and download it again. You'll see we have that free for commercial use. So we're making sure that we're downloading something that, doesn't violate any policies or anything. And then I would always recommend, if you get the chance, to give a shout out or donation to the people that you're getting this content from. So we will close that, and now we have everything that we need to get started here. So basically we have the audio at the bottom, the 2 video clips, the logos, and then this text here. So what we can go ahead and do is select all and click delete, and we will essentially start from scratch. So in this case, what we will do here is we will delete these as well, and then we will drop all of our files into this media bin up top. That way we can just work from one location. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you're aware that we have your title tracks, video, and then audio, but more will be added as needed. So we can add the audio because it's the only audio. So in this case, we would just put it up against the beginning. What I mean by that is you don't want it starting way out here. You want it obviously playing when the video starts. So you have your audio clip that's been added in, and then you can also adjust audio levels if I'm not mistaken, so you can detect beats, add volume points. If I'm not mistaken, you should be able to adjust levels here as well. So you can play around with those settings. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in our videos and then our logos. So first thing is going to be a random video. So let's just go ahead and drop this one in there. Now, as we're playing it, so you can put this little cursor wherever, and then you can use this split tool. And you'll see we now have the video separated. Now, you'll notice the audio is not separated. It's only going to split what you have selected. So in this case, if I don't need anything longer than right here, I can click split, and now it's split up. Don't get too quick to use the delete button, because if you do, when you first do the split, it's going to delete both pieces. You need to deselect and reselect the piece you want to delete. So in this case, I will delete that. And then we will add in the next video. So we'll drop this one in here. And then in this case, I will say, let's split it right here. But let's also split the audio track there. Now, just to show you as an example, if I click the delete button now, the whole audio track is gone. So you'll just re-add it, find that point again, and then split, and then deselect, reselect, click delete, and then you can delete your second clip. So now we have the basis of the video, and you can again modify this however you need. Next up would be to add in your entry logos / pictures, etc. So the cool things about these is it's really easy to expand this really however you decide you need to. So if you want this to be present right here for this full, let's just say clip, we can select this image, and you'll see sometimes you can interact with this editor up here, sometimes not so much. So you have a couple of options here. So we can decide, as you'll watch when this is playing, we have some edits that we have to make. But basically what you need to do is you can double click the picture to, choose your fade in, fade out options, your duration, and then you can scroll through here as well. But you can typically right click, and as you're scrolling through the options, you can find what we're looking for basically is just the general settings for this. So if you need, there is a cool detach audio option and a couple of other things that you can work with. But if you're going through here, you can typically, again, just search for that general settings option. So in our case, when we right click it, which we'll do in a minute, you would typically go to Tools, General, and you'll see the general properties here. And then you can right click again and go to Tools. And here's where we're looking for Position. So in this case, you'll have all of these menus over here. And I was just using the picture in a picture option. And this way you can edit and move this around as you see fit. So in my intro, for example, my logo was right here, and you can resize it a bit, and you'll be able to snap to the grid lines, and then you'll see that your logo is basically just there. And then we would want to drop in the next logo. So basically your next logo is going to be the next bit of content that you're wanting to import, and then we would need our title screen as well. So a couple of things to note here. You can click your little plus sign to get back to your main screen. And then I like to drop my cursor where I'm going next just to make sure that we don't have any issues. And then we'll drop in, let's just call this the main logo. And this main logo, maybe we want it to show up for the remainder of the second video. Now, same thing applies here. You'll have your position section up top, so we can right-click this, go to Tools, and then we can go to Position, Picture in a Picture, and do some resizing, and drop this wherever. I want to have it a little bit lower because I'm going to have some text above it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to see if we want to add in, for example, the first picture, I like it static, but maybe with this one we have some animation that we want. So in this case, you can scroll through the animation and see the different options that you have. For example, vortex out, and it'll give you a little preview. So we can drag this and you'll pick where you want it to start. So in this case, I want it to start at the very beginning. And then if you zoom in by just scrolling in, you'll be able to see each point where the actual action is occurring. So if we were to click on this point, for example, you'll see where it is in that process of vortexing, so to speak. So to show you what this looks like, just like my logo jumped into the screen. So next up, all we really need to do is add in our text. So you have a couple of different options here, but when it comes to what we just did, if you need to, for example, this last step, you'll see right here we have the ability to extend. So just to show you what this is using, okay, this is the speed at which each point is actually happening. So if we watch this, you'll see how it's going fast, and right when we hit here, it slows down. Again, you don't have to do that, but it's kind of cool to play around with if you decided. And then here it is at regular speed. So next up, we'll just drop in our text, and then we'll be able to wrap things up. So you have a couple of options. You can scroll through. So we have a couple of interesting options here. I think I used fly in. So what we can do is you would find a good point to have your text drop in. You can ignore that, and then for mine, I just put from the makers of, and then you just pick a good point for this to come in. So for example, maybe you want it to come in right about here. And then let's see how this plays out. So the last thing that we really need to do is, firstly, we're going to zoom out and make sure that this text shows up for the right amount of time. So we'll just drag here. And then you're going to want to update the actual location of this text. So when we double click it, we'll have the ability to change the actual landing location, so to speak. And you can move it around. You can edit the text up here, make it larger, smaller, change the color, etc. But at this point, we've basically recreated the intro, so let's watch it through. And then it just continues to play. So at this point, if you don't have the paid version of Movavi, you're going to have to export this with a watermark. But if you want to use other video editors, Movavi does have a lifetime license. I'll drop a link in the description so that you can see my overview of Movavi and learn a little bit more about it if you're interested. But I hope this was helpful and gave you some insight into how you could potentially make some kind of a similar intro using some free content. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.